Paul McCartney is not just your regular singer. Rather, he is a prominent figure in contemporary culture as a composer, writer, poet, artist, entrepreneur, and record holder of over 3,000 copyright. He is in the Guinness Book of World Records for having the most records sold, most number ones shared, with Yesterday as his most covered song, having the largest paid audience for a solo concert, more than 350,000 people in Brazil in 1989. He is usually regarded as one of the most successful entertainers of all time. He had a dual ancestry of both Irish and English and was raised non-denominational. During his childhood years, he studied music and art and had wonderful days with his younger brother, Michael. At 11 years, he gained a place at Liverpool Institute for Boys after passing the 11+ exam known as the scholarship out of only 4 students, and as a result was privileged to study in the institute from 1953 to 1960, earning A-level in English and art. His mother died of cancer when he was just 14 years, which traumatized him a lot. Not too long after the incident, he came up with his first song, and in the July of 1957, he met John Lennon during a performance at a local church festival. He successfully impressed John Lennon with his mastery of singing and guitar playing in different styles, and not too long, he was opportune to join John Lennon's band, the Quarrymen, and eventually turned out to become one of the founding members of the Beatles, with another band members like Pete Best and George Harrison. The 4 members that made up the Beatles were not just talented, but also equally charismatic, and they piqued each other's interest right from the moment they started working together. Paul McCartney was privileged with above-average musical education, having studied classical piano and guitar in his childhood. He progressed and soon became a lead vocalist as well as a multi-instrumentalist and singer-songwriter. He is known to play more than 40 other musical instruments. I guess you can call him a musical genius. Most of the songs he wrote had more popularity than those of other members of the Beatles band, and most were hits. Some of his songs such as Yesterday, Let It Be, Hey Jude, Blackbird, All My Loving, Eleanor Rigby, Birthday, I Saw Her Standing There, I Will, Get Back, Carry That Weight, P.S. I Love You, Things We Said Today, Hello Goodbye, Two of Us, Why Don't We Do It in the Road, Helter Skelter, Honey Pie, When I'm 64, Lady Madonna, She's a Woman, Maxwell Silver Hammer, Obla-Dee, Obla-Da, Mother Nature's Son, Long and Winding Road, Rocky Raccoon, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, The Fool on the Hill, You Never Give Me Your Money, Your Mother Should Know, The End, Yellow Submarine, and several others were among the best hits of Beatles, with Yesterday becoming the most covered song in musical history, with over 3,000 versions of it recorded by various artists globally. The Beatles' songs and images were not just emotionally appealing, but also inspirational. People who listened to them wanted to become free like a bird. When you listen to their songs, you get to feel real love, help, peace, deep and insightful imagination, and freedom evoked by creativity. And as a result, their songs contributed immensely to break the strongholds and chains in the minds of millions of their listeners. The more the Beatles gained a following, the more the sophistication of their songwriting deepened, with McCartney coming up with epistolary songs like Fats Walker's I'm Gonna Sit Right Down and Write Myself a Letter. Although the band recorded a lot of hit successes and moved crowds, with several of their shows leaving people screaming in excitement at the top of their voices, by 1966, the Beatles were tired of that road because, according to McCartney, the fans screaming sounded like a million seagulls. And after the show they had on August 29th of 1966, they never played for a paying audience again. McCartney later said it was just a dispiriting show. We just went through the motions. We got loaded into a kind of meat wagon, just a chrome box with nothing in it, except doors. We were the meat. In August 1969, John Lennon said a sad and heartbreaking goodbye to the group and went on to engage in a new outfit, the Plastic Ono Band, and the Beatles were disbanded. It was only a matter of time before McCartney got depressed, feeling like the job, which was more than a job to him, was gone, and with it, the Beatles, the music, his musical life, and his collaborator. The band mattered a lot to McCartney, and he and Linda, his first wife, had to go to a farm in Campbelltown, Scotland, where McCartney drank too much, slept late into the afternoons, and then drank some more. And it got to the point where he drank acid. Due to his long absence, a rumor that he died began on a Detroit radio show video and spread across the world. When a reporter and photographer from Life showed up on the farm McCartney was staying at, he threw a bucket of water at them. "The Beatles thing is over," he told them after settling down. "Can you spread it around that I'm just an ordinary person and want to live in peace?" Not too long, on December 8, 1989, Lennon was murdered by a crazy Beatles fan, and 4 months later, Philip Norman published Shout, a best-selling biography of the band built around the idea that Lennon was 3/4 of the Beatles, and McCartney was nothing more than an unpleasant songwriter and also a great manipulator, which shattered McCartney's spirit. Although later, when the whole stunt was beginning to die down, he released his side of the story. Right from when he was young and started his musical career with performances at a local church, music had always been a big part of Paul's life. He doesn't know what would make him retire from it, and also, he always has a desire to keep going beyond his limitations, regardless of how musical touring can be harmful to his health. While speaking in an interview to BBC 6 in 2018, he was quoted saying that the only thing that would make him retire from music is when he doesn't enjoy it anymore. But that day may never come. Music has always been his muse, and so he doesn't know what he would be retiring from because he always has the will to play music no matter the circumstances. To him, music is his oxygen, breath, and life, and to stop playing would be like losing a big part of himself. Like these footballers, Paul said, people say, "When are you going to retire?" And they will nearly always say, "Well, when I don't enjoy it, or when my legs give in," or something like that. When there's a factor, that makes them retire. I don't think any of them want to retire particularly. And I was talking to, name-dropping Clunk, Willie Nelson, American country musician, and I was talking about the whole retiring thing, because he's older than I am even, and he says, "Retire from what?" And I think that just says it. Retire from what? Paul was also quoted saying a similar thing to Chicago's WXRT, a radio station in Chicago, Illinois. "For me, the main thing is I love making music so much," he said. "If I retired, I'd still do exactly what I do, so I may as well not retire." Retire from what? I do this for nothing. He has remained optimistic throughout his career and lifetime despite all the challenges he faced, being ridiculed as one of the bad ones and losing most of his former band members and his beloved wife to cancer. Paul McCartney did have a wonderful career of over 60 years, but even after such a long time, he is reluctant to admit being completely satisfied by the feat and everything he has done. He just wants to keep going, looking and drawing inspiration from other artists because what they are doing motivates him to aspire more to become better due to his very competitive nature. Paul told NPR, National Public Radio, an American privately and publicly funded nonprofit media organization headquartered in Washington, in 2013 that, "It seems to me that no matter how famous you are, no matter how accomplished or how many awards you get, you're always still thinking there's somebody out there who's better than you." He went further to say that, "I'm often reading a magazine and hearing about someone's new record and I think, oh boy, that's gonna be better than me." It's a very common thing. One thing that's good about it is, I think it's a good motivator. It keeps you hungry. I think the minute you're full up and have enough to eat, that's the time to retire. But I agree with you. I should be able to look at my accolades and go, "Come on, Paul, that's enough." But there's still this little voice in the back of my brain and goes, no, you could do better. This person over here is excelling. Try harder." It still can be a little bit intimidating. Even though he is gradually losing his health and also having memory issues and sometimes needing a teleprompter in concert because he occasionally has brain farts or gets sidetracked thinking about various things according to an interview he had not too long ago, he seems to not be too concerned about musical touring into his old age. It's indeed a great life, and one hopes he gets to live long to continue performing his music. What are your thoughts on today's video? Please let us know in the comment section below, and if you haven't done so already, please make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our incredible videos. Keep an eye out for the next video. Bye for now.